Hi, this is Dr. Greg Relo with Express Dentist. Everybody knows that sugar is bad for your teeth, and people sometimes ask, why is sugar bad for your teeth? And it could just be an assumption that sugar hits the teeth and it does something to the surface, like maybe it creates some damage to the surface of the teeth. But it's really a little more complex than that, and it's actually pretty interesting. Our mouths are filled with living organisms. There's over 700 species of different organisms that live in our mouth, and many of them are good, but there are just a few that aren't so good. Now, these are living creatures, and like any living creature, they do need an energy source. And it just happens that sugar, those simple carbohydrates, are the ideal energy source for those living organisms. So if those organisms weren't there, the sugar itself would not be so damaging to the teeth. But what happens is the organisms take in that sugar after you've exposed them to it, and they metabolize it, create energy, and as a result of that, like all living organisms, they do make waste. And that waste is deposited out onto the teeth, into the mouth. And if you looked at that waste, what we'd see is it's very acidic. Now, acid is not good for teeth, and acid placed on teeth, which are mineral, starts to create holes, which are known as cavities. And so you kind of start to get this picture that what happens is you have a living organism that needs energy, and it can use sugar really well. And so it does, and it creates energy, but it also creates a waste product, and it dumps out that waste product, which is toxic, which is acidic, and that is what actually eats into the teeth and starts to cause the damage. So sugar is obviously bad for teeth, but now you understand that it's a little bit more of an infection than anything, and it involves these bacteria that are in between the sugar and the damage. And so obviously there's good reason to limit sugar intake. Now, it does go much further than that. We often, as dentists, think about the damage that occurs to the teeth, but we know that sugar is a real problem for many health conditions in the United States and around the world. All of the refined sugars that are added to many processed foods, especially into many beverages, cause a lot of damage in the body, especially with inflammation. It creates a lot of inflammation, and that can lead to many different diseases. And obviously, a lot of calories come from sugar, so that is contributing to obesity and weight gain, diabetes. There's just a lot more that goes into it. But from the dental perspective, this is what we need to understand, is that we want to limit our sugar intake as much as possible. Now, there are sources of sugar that it's easy to overlook. One that I see very frequently, especially with kids, are little snacks like little chewies. Fruit chewies are especially bad because they stick to the teeth, and so it puts that sugar right where the organisms need it, and it can cause damage very quickly. Cereals, crackers, cookies, anything like that that's ground up, those sugars are deposited up against the teeth and provide an excellent energy source. So we really want to be careful with that and try to limit sugar as much as possible, especially between meals. And of course, make sure that twice a day brushing's occurring in the morning and at night before you go to bed, and flossing as well for in between the teeth, and those regular dental checkups to make sure that there aren't any new cavities that are starting. So it just gives you a little better understanding possibly of how sugar contributes to tooth decay and why sugar is bad for your teeth before it goes into the rest of the body and causes other problems. So at Express Dentists, we have a trusted network of dentists around the country. If it's time to get in for a checkup, make sure that there aren't any little cavities starting, and have any counseling on dietary issues that can contribute to tooth decay, have your gums checked, all of that, please reach out to us. We'll help you connect with somebody in your area that you can trust and can help you with your smile. So all the best to you and your oral health.